Hello everyone, it's DiegoDoom here. Today I'm bringing you another review. Today I'll be reviewing X Plus Toho 30cm series Godzilla 1964 Diamond Reissue. This particular version of Godzilla, known as Mosu Goji, comes from the 1964 film Mothra vs. Godzilla. To find out more about the history of Godzilla 1964, check out my review of SH Monster Art's Godzilla 1964. Be sure to check out the 1964 film Mothra vs. Godzilla, it is absolutely fantastic. X Plus Toho 30cm series Godzilla 1964 Diamond Reissue is another superb release in the Toho 30cm series line. Godzilla has a superb sculpt and superb paint applications. Before we can enjoy our Mosu Goji, first we have some minor assembly to complete. This time around, Godzilla's tail is in one very long piece. To attach the tail, first grab a hair dryer and heat up Godzilla's underside until it's squishy soft. Once the underside is nice and squishy soft, insert the tail into Godzilla's body. When inserting the tail, you may have to push the flange inward on the tail to make inserting the tail easier. Now that we have Godzilla fully assembled, let's take a look at Godzilla himself. When it comes to sculpt and paint apps, Godzilla is truly superb. Starting from the top, we have the signature Mosu Goji head sculpt. At the top of the head, we have the very nicely detailed scales. The scales are individually sculpted and well textured with various cracks and valleys. The scales have a charcoal gray paint app with some slight weathering. These very nicely detailed scales can be seen throughout the body and in some spots with the signature Mosu Goji dirt patches. The unique Mosu Goji eyebrows are nice and prominent with a smooth sculpt. The eyes have a slightly dirty white paint app and the pupils have a black paint app. The snout is very nicely detailed with various scaly creases and folds. The nose stands out and does not get lost amongst the snout details. Moving down to the mouth, no detail was spared here. The teeth have a nice sculpt with a dirty bone paint app. The teeth look sharp, but they are dull to the touch. The inner mouth and tongue have a very nicely detailed sculpt with a flesh tone paint app. Moving down, we have the neck and chest. The neck has various creases and folds with the scales continuing. Another very cool detail that is a true testament to X Plus's commitment to suit accuracy is the inclusion of the suit actor vent holes. The chest is very nicely detailed with the pecs and sternum standing out. Also in the chest we can see the weathered dirt patches. The arms are very nicely sculpted with more of the scaly creases and folds. It's really nice to see how the scales naturally spread out as the arms bend. The claws have a nice sharp sculpt with a weathered bone paint app. The claws also seem to have a slight gloss to them. The legs have a very nicely detailed, slightly muscular sculpt. The scales on the legs really stand out. We can see more of the various weathered dirt patches on the crotch, thighs, and knees. The feet have a very nicely detailed web-like sculpt with the scales and weathered dirt patches continuing. The toenails have the same paint apps as the claws. Spin around to the back, we have the dorsal fins. The dorsal fins have a very nicely detailed and textured sculpt. As we come down from the head, we can see the fins gradually becoming larger. Each dorsal fin is individually sculpted, giving them a natural look. Each of the fins have a bone white paint app around the edges and a charcoal gray paint app at their bases. As we go down the back, the dorsal fins gradually begin to taper off as we reach the tail. The tail has a very nicely detailed long sculpt with the nicely detailed scales continuing on the sides of the tail. Underneath the tail, we can see some slightly smoother scaly details. As a whole, Godzilla is truly superb. X Plus has done an absolutely fantastic job in faithfully and fully realizing Mosu Goji. Another great thing, this figure is a Diamond Reissue and the paint apps are consistent with the original Japanese release. If you are an avid X Plus collector, then you already know there have been some paint consistency issues with other Diamond Reissues. In some cases, other collectors have said the Diamond Reissue of Mosu Goji is better than the original release. I can't really say since I don't have the original, but I can say this figure is truly superb. Now, let's take a look at Godzilla's pose. Godzilla is in a walking forward / ready for action pose. I think this pose looks fantastic and fits Mosu Goji perfectly. Godzilla is in the 30cm scale, standing roughly 12 inches tall and 15.5 inches head to tail. Godzilla's pose looks fantastic basically from all angles. Godzilla 1964 definitely has a very nice shelf presence, but he is a bit of a shelf hog. Since his tail is stretched out so far, you might have to place him at an angle on your shelf. Now, Let's do some size comparisons. To conclude the review, X Plus Toho 30cm Series Godzilla 1964 Diamond Reissue is another superb release in the Toho 30cm series line. Godzilla has a superb sculpt and superb paint applications. This figure is definitely very nice, very neat, and very cool. I absolutely recommend picking this figure up. Be sure to check out the 1964 film Mothra vs. Godzilla. It is absolutely fantastic. This has been another review by DiegoDoom. Thank you very much for watching, and please stay tuned for more figure reviews. Check out the Facebook fan page and also follow me on Instagram. Like, comment, and subscribe.